It's time for America Outdoors Radio. The fast-paced hour of outdoors radio ahead is not only awesome, but unlike those other shows, you can actually sleep in for this one. Better still, we've got a special Pacific Northwest edition for you, sponsored by Northwest Sportsman Magazine. You won't find this version of America Outdoors Radio anywhere else. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio. Brought to you by Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
Once again, we've got another great Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio for you, only on Fox Sports KRKO. Tom Burlingame with XL Charters is back again. By now, he's probably got you convinced to come fishing with him out of CQ for blackmouth salmon, and he's got a place to stay for you too, but you might be wondering, where are you going to eat while you're over there? Well, turns out Tom's got a couple suggestions. Speaking of food, lodging, and more, Chad Calder with Chad's Coastwide Sports Fishing out of Port Hardy, BC, is going to join us again at the end of the show and explain just how all-inclusive his affordable saltwater fishing vacations are. And I think you're going to be impressed by everything he has to offer for a very low price. But before we go there, let's get into what's hot and what's not here in the Pacific Northwest. Spring Chinook fishing on the Columbia River may not be hot, but it should be decent. That's the word from the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, which reports approximately 160,000 upriver spring Chinook are expected to return to the waters above Bonneville Dam this year, which represents about 80% of the 10-year average. On the other hand, 80% of the allowable catch of upriver spring Chinook will be allocated to the sport fishery, which is up from 70% in previous years, based on policies recently adopted by the Washington and Oregon Fish and Wildlife Commissions. The following fishing regs will be in effect below Bonneville Dam from March 1st through April 6th. In terms of the fishing area, it's currently open downstream from the Interstate 5 bridge, but will expand upstream starting March 1st. Fishing will then be open to boat and bank anglers daily from the mouth of the Columbia to Beacon Rock. Bank anglers can also fish upriver to Bonneville Dam. The daily limit is one marked hatchery-reared adult Chinook salmon, and you can have a total of 2 salmon, 2 steelhead, or 1 of each. Any Chinook or steelhead without a clipped adipose fin and a healed scar must be released unharmed. Keep in mind, there is an area of the Columbia River that will be closed to all fishing. That's near the mouth of the Lewis River, and anglers must also release any spring Chinook in the Lewis River itself downstream from Merwin Dam. Heading down to Northwest Oregon, Bob Rees, writing for the Guides Forecast, sponsored in part by Visit Tillamook, reports with many North Coast streams still running a bit high, especially on the South Coast. Guides and anglers flocked to the smaller systems such as the Wilson, Kilchis, Trask, and Nestucca near Tillamook last week. The Wilson was the star attraction, and although there were fish to be had, the willing biters had to be divided amongst the best bobber doggers in the business. The water's been flogged, but those that innovate often capitalize, and those that stayed back and worked the water effectively also came up with surprises. Again, not excellent fishing, but worth one's time if you put some effort into it. On Puget Sound, there was a lot of effort by anglers going in and out of the Everett boat ramp last Saturday, and some success. 90 boats with 184 anglers were checked with 21 blackmouth. A better bet might be Area 5 off of CQ. Creel checkers there found 7 boats with 17 anglers who had 17 salmon. The one-day smelt opening last Saturday was, according to most anglers posting on Facebook, very poor, with very few smelt finding their way into dip nets. And in eastern Washington, the Quincy Lakes and Tucannon Lakes opened up, in theory, for trout fishing on March 1st, but at last report, most, if not all of them, were still frozen. Yep, it's been that kind of winter. So there you go. That's what's hot and what's not here in the Pacific Northwest.
And with that, let's head to this week's national edition of America Outdoors Radio.
Marine Area 5 near CQ is open for a special Chinook salmon fishery from February 16th to April 30th, and XL Fishing Charters is ready to take you out for a great day on the water. One of the great things about this fishery is the fact that you get to take home not 1, but 2 blackmouth a day, and Captain Tom Burlingame has the knowledge and experience to help you get that done. Find out more about fishing with XL Fishing Charters at xlfishingcharters.com. Book your trip now.
Be sure to attend the Monroe Sportsman Show April 7th through the 9th at the Evergreen State Fairgrounds. This show will be fun for the whole family. Find out more at monroesportsmanshow.com.
It's time for America Outdoors Radio, the show that covers the outdoor scene across the U.S. of A. and the entire continent. Fishing, hunting, conservation, outdoor recreation, and great destinations. We cover it all every week. It's your country, your outdoors. Let's explore it together with your host, John Cruz.
I'd like to start off the show today by telling you about my dad. You see, I lost him last week, and I thought you'd like to know a little bit about the man who made me, in many ways, the man I am today. Gene Cruz grew up during the Depression, and I remember him telling me that times were so tough that they only had bread and milk for dinner many times at his family home. He couldn't afford to go out and do much in terms of entertainment, but he and his father could hunt and fish, and that's what they did along the streams and rivers of north central Colorado. Dad was smart. He got into college and eventually earned a PhD in fisheries biology from the University of Michigan, doing his doctoral studies on grayling at Grebe Lake, a place he had to hike into in Yellowstone National Park in the early 1950s. He married Mom, and after a short mandatory stint in the Army, got a job with the state of Oregon as a fisheries biologist in Newport. I was born in 1964. And have fond memories of my father taking me to fish hatcheries around the state, as well as early fishing trips on the Columbia River for shad and on Colorado's Poudre River for trout. As I grew, so did the fishing opportunities with Dad. And when I was 10, he introduced me to bird hunting. Duck hunting was a passion the two of us shared on opening days for decades, and that love for duck hunting turned into a love for bird dogs and upland bird hunting as well. Meanwhile, Dad and I kept fishing for salmon, steelhead, trout, and more in the Northwest, and in 2000, we had the opportunity to go on an epic British Columbia trip where we flew out to remote streams every day from our lodge to fish for trout and whitefish with nobody near us for miles of roadless wilderness. In fact, the trip inspired me to write my first published article in an outdoors magazine, and that's what led me to where I'm at today. I became an outdoors writer, writing for several magazines, stumbled into radio, and eventually got onto this show to bring this to you every week. That 2000 trip was followed by an even more remote trip to the Northwest Territories to celebrate my 40th birthday, where we spent the better part of a week fishing untouched Canadian waters for big northern pike, walleye, and lake trout. In short, my dad was not only a fine fisherman, but a fine fishing partner, a mentor, and a wonderful friend. Dad, as you may have figured out by now, was a very patient and kind man because I was not the best fisherman or the best wing shot in the world. He was smart and insightful too, and surprisingly enough, given the fact that he rose to high ranks in government, he was a thoughtful and gentle man too. Dad was truly a wonderful person, and I miss him, though I know we will fish again. In the meantime, for those of you who still have your dads in good health, make it a point to spend some time with them on the water, in the field, or on the trail. Trust me on this. These are the memories that will last. Okay, let's turn our attention to what we've got for you on the show this week. My dad was old school, and so are the downriggers we're going to tell you about in the next few minutes. They are Seahorse downriggers. They are made by Trollmaster, and they're the reincarnation of the famed Penn Fathom Master manual downriggers you may have grown up with fishing lakes, rivers, or the salt water. From there, we'll head to Jackson County in southern Oregon. That's where Bruce Wassum and his crew at Rogue Jet Boat Works are manufacturing aluminum jet boats. Bruce will explain why aluminum jet boats may be a good choice for you as an angler, and he'll also dive into a local controversy on the Rogue River that is a familiar story on many rivers around the country, where one user group, in this case fly fishermen, are trying to kick another user group, jet boat operators, off the water. And then it's time to tell you about a couple of great fishing destinations to visit this summer. If you are looking for a first-class, top-notch, luxurious Alaska fishing and adventure experience, you'll be hard-pressed to do better than Alaska's Boardwalk Lodge on Prince of Wales Island. Owner Brad Stewart will tell you all about it, and after that, we'll head about 650 miles south to the northwest side of Vancouver Island in British Columbia. That's where you're going to find Rugged Point Lodge. It's a small, family-operated lodge offering great fishing for salmon, halibut, bottomfish, and at times, even tuna on the Pacific Ocean side of the island. Matt Gaget will join us to tell you about that. Throw in some outdoors news, and we've got a full hour of the outdoors coming your way in a hurry. So let's kick it off now and talk about some old school downriggers that never go out of style. Next up on America Outdoors Radio, if you're like me, you've probably got fond memories of being out on the boat on a big lake or maybe in the ocean, and the downriggers were getting your bait down where it needed to be. And back in those days, you were probably using the iconic Penn Fathom Master Series downrigger. It was a manual downrigger. A lot of boats had them. They don't make them anymore. However, I've got good news for you. If you loved those downriggers, there's a new one. It's called the Seahorse Downrigger. It's inspired by those Penn Fathom Master Series downriggers. With us here to tell you more about them is Chris Constantino with TrollMaster.com. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
So, Chris, the Seahorse Downrigger, it's the reincarnation, so to speak, of the Penn Fathom Master Series downriggers. Tell our listeners more about them.
Well, it's, as you said, it's a reincarnation of the iconic Fathom Master line. You know, we reproduced the downrigger with the help of Penn, actually. We contacted them, and they were more than happy to give their permission, and we utilized them to do some quality control testing, but we reinvented the downrigger, and it's exactly the same as it was. All the parts are interchangeable, so if you have an older Penn Fathom Master downrigger and you need parts, we actually have the parts for it because they're exactly the same. We did do a couple of subtle improvements, like some of the old ones, the spools might crack, the composite material in the spool would crack. We actually redid that so it holds up. It's a lot stronger than it was. But for those that know that downrigger, it's exactly the same.
So for those who don't know that downrigger, why don't you go through some of the features of the Seahorse Downrigger?
Well, the Seahorse Downrigger is a manual downrigger. It mounts a couple different ways to your boat. We have gimbal mounts. You can mount it directly to the plate on the gunnel. We have the swivel bases. We have any way you can possibly imagine it. We can get it on your boat. And you know, the benefits to a downrigger is you're going to put your bait down where you need it, and it's going to stay right exactly there.
Absolutely. So let's talk about manual versus electronic, because by and large, you pretty much just see electronic downriggers these days on boats. Why would somebody want a manual downrigger?
Well, you know, it's interesting. We've gotten that question a couple different times, and really the way we started was we were repairing downriggers, and we made a couple of pieces for them, you know, onesie-twosie pieces here and there, and by and large, 80% of all of our customers had manual downriggers. So we figured when we let's start off and cover that 80%, and that's what we're doing. So most of the people that use those Penn Fathom Master downriggers are using manual downriggers. That's what they're known for.
And I guess something else that's kind of pretty obvious here is a manual downrigger, by and large, is going to cost a lot less than an electronic downrigger.
Oh, absolutely. Beyond the shadow of a doubt. Not only that, we have kept our pricing the same as Penn's pricing when they discontinued them about 8 years ago.
Oh, my gosh. Now, that is amazing. No inflation for 8 years. Good for you. So what is the price point on the Seahorse downriggers?
The Seahorse downriggers can start at $269.99, and they range as high as $465. But if you know, there's a fairly large swing in price, but it's based upon how you outfit it, right? If you get it without the swivel base, if you get it on a gimbal mount, if you get the boom extension, so it depends on how you need it, because it's a very versatile piece of tackle. Therefore, you know, you can get it any way that you really need it to suit your need.
Fantastic. Last but not least, we have to tell people where they can find the Seahorse downrigger.
You can go to TrollMaster.com. It's TROLL-master. Don't forget the dash. Troll-master.com. It's a full site. Everything is there, and you can reach out to us that way, and we can get you going.
Absolutely. In fact, I'm looking at that site right now, folks. It is a great site. It's got some great photos. You'll see exactly what you need. It's troll-master.com. They've got dealer locations, too. Most of them are on the East Coast, but don't worry if you're a West Coast listener, because you can order online. It's troll-master.com. That's the place to go to get the Seahorse downrigger. If you love those iconic Penn Fathom Master Series downriggers, you're going to love the Seahorse downrigger too. Chris, thanks for telling us all about this on America Outdoors Radio.
Oh, thank you.
Tillamook Bay is considered the greatest fishing experience on the west coast for fall Chinook salmon and winter steelhead, and Dungeness crab is plentiful. 5 major rivers connect with the ocean on the Tillamook coast. It's not unusual to snag a 40 to 50 pounder. Go out in a boat or stand on a riverbank or dock. Try fishing from a dory boat and experience the thrill of a beach launch and landing. Use spinners, sand shrimp, or salmon eggs to lure them. The fish will line up to grab your bait. Go to tillamookcoast.com/fishing to find guides and places to stay.
Remember those fantastic Penn manual downriggers? Do you wish you still had one? Guess what? You can. Chris Costantino from Trollmaster explains.
The reincarnation of the iconic Fathom Master line, where we reinvented the downrigger, and it's exactly the same as it was. All the parts are interchangeable, so if you have an older Penn Fathom Master downrigger and you need parts, we actually have the parts for it because they're exactly the same.
Order your downrigger at troll-master.com. That's troll-master.com.
Planning your next hunting trip in Oregon or Washington? Our Rams Game Management Unit maps show you the big picture on where you're going, as well as the topography and road trail information to help you get there. And they've got public land information, Game Management Unit boundaries, and UTM information for GPS users to keep you out of trouble. Rams Game Management Unit maps are a great planning tool for safe and successful hunts. Look for Rams maps at your local sporting goods store, or see our entire line of maps on the web at bigskymaps.com.
Low-limit saltwater salmon fishing got you down? Don't be sad. Head to the mighty Columbia River and get into the great steelhead and salmon fishing going on this year. Mike Salazar with Salt to Summit Guide Service is the man to go fish with. He's got over 25 years experience and knows how to catch a limit of fish. In fact, he's so confident in your success, he'll guarantee a fish. Book your Columbia River trip now at salttosummit.com. That's salt, then the number 2, then summit.com. Did you check out this month's edition of Northwest Sportsman Magazine? If you didn't, you're missing out, because it's the best publication out there that covers the fishing and hunting scene, not only in Washington State, but in the entire Northwest. Northwest Sportsman Magazine has got great writers and great content you need to have to be successful. Northwest Sportsman Magazine is the publication for you. Find out more at nwsportsmanmag.com or pick up a copy at a newsstand near you.
Be sure to attend the Monroe Sportsman Show April 7th through the 9th at the Evergreen State Fairgrounds, with tons of vendors offering big discounts, a lineup of expert speakers, and a stock trout pond for the kids. This show will be fun for the whole family. Admission is only $6 and kids under 12 are free, so be sure to attend the Monroe Sportsman Show, presented by Puget Sound Anglers Snow King Chapter and sponsored by Three Rivers Marine with support from the TPA Fund of Snohomish County. Find out more at monroesportsmanshow.com.
Looking for the safest, most stable riding boat on the market? Welcome to Stabicraft. Born in New Zealand, Stabicraft has a built-in reputation for making the most seaworthy boats on the market. Heavy gauge aluminum chambered boats with models ranging from 14 to 29 feet in a variety of configurations to suit all your needs. Check out the all-new 2750 center cab, a walk-around design for the Northwest market and packed with industry-leading features to suit all types of fishing, allowing you to adventure with confidence. Book a test ride today at stabicraft.com.
Are you an outfitter, sporting goods retailer, boat dealer, or someone else in the outdoors industry? If you are, you know targeted advertising works best, and what would work better than advertising with America Outdoors Radio? Our hour-long show is heard throughout Seattle, Everett, and the East Side every Saturday morning, and your message will be heard there too. Better still, our rates are way more affordable than you think. Want to find out more? Contact me, John Cruz, through my website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. That's America Outdoors Radio, bringing you more business. You're back with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. This portion of the show is brought to you by California Sportsman Magazine. It's the monthly publication that covers fishing, hunting, and more throughout the great state of California. Look for it at a newsstand near you. For our next segment, we're heading just north of California. We're actually heading to the Medford area, Jackson County. That's where you're going to find Bruce Wassum. He is the owner of Rogue Jet Boat Works. Bruce, welcome to the show.
Thank you, John.
So, Bruce, you make aluminum jet boats. And I know this being sportsman show season and boat show season, there's a lot of people out there trying to figure out what kind of boat to buy. When it comes to an aluminum jet boat, I understand that certain types of fishing, certain types of water are more conducive to this sort of rig than others. When would you recommend anglers purchase an aluminum jet boat, and why?
The jet drive was invented back in 1965, and it's primarily used for river application, although we do a lot of our law enforcement now that, like Lake Shasta has a boat on order right now for a patrol boat, and a lot of them like the jet drive even on lakes just because of the safety. The newer jet drives have phenomenal maneuverability. They'll spin in a circle on the same spot. But, the jet drive is primarily made for the river, the salmon fishing, trout fishing, fly fishing on the rivers. But we do about 40% of our boats in jet drive and about 60% in prop-driven aluminum boats. Most of the industry, the all-welded aluminum industry in the Northwest, primarily in Idaho and Oregon, are doing probably 90% of their boats now, the all-welded aluminum boats, for prop drive for the ocean, the Columbia River, your lake. So the jet drive is really transformed into a lot of outboard prop boats. Also, the people are going out 50, 60 miles in their aluminum boat, tuna fishing off the Oregon, Washington coast. So the jet drive is involved in all that, but we do a lot of the prop boat now also.
So, Bruce, question for you. Why do you think the transition has occurred from fiberglass boats to aluminum boats over the last few decades?
Aluminum, we've been able to do a lot of custom stuff for the angler and the family recreation people that a fiberglass boat comes out of a mold and you have pretty much what they set the mold up for. So a lot of custom stuff. Aluminum boat, extremely durable, being all welded aluminum, lighter weight, 15-20% lighter weight for the hull itself than a fiberglass boat, so it's a little easier to tow, a little less fuel consumption. And also, which we really noticed over the last number of years since aluminum boats are now coming onto the used boat market, that aluminum boat will be 25, 30, 40% higher resale value than a glass boat.
Very interesting. All right. Didn't know that at all. Let's go ahead and talk about Rogue Jet Boat Works. What's your most popular seller that you have right now?
We do about 40%, as I mentioned, in jet drive, about 60% in prop drive, and the most popular prop-driven boat, outboard boat that we build is called our Coastal Series. We do a lot of that for the government agencies and for the general public, made for lakes, ocean, big water like the Columbia, the Delta down in California. That's a real bread and butter boat for us. We're doing about 42% of our total business with government agencies such as Fish and Game, Army Corps of Engineers, National Parks, local law enforcement agencies, and a big part of those are that coastal model that they're using down in the Delta in California and the lakes.
Very interesting, especially finding that niche with those government agencies. I understand you've got a brand new model out, the Stealth Series. Tell our listeners about that.
Our Stealth Series is a more of a low-end boat in that $20,000 to $30,000 price with trailer with an outboard engine. Most of them we do with an outboard prop with either a tiller handle or a center console, but we do a few with the prop drive. It's made for fishing the shallow waters of the Sacramento River, Feather, Yuba, your Clearwater River up in Idaho, that type of thing. A smaller boat, good for back trolling, side drifting. Fly fishing has a very large deck on it, so a person can get elevated and fly fish from that deck.
I'm assuming that the Stealth Series at all your boats have fish boxes, and they've got rod boxes too?
Absolutely. We do a lot of custom fish boxes, like our Coastal Series comes standard with a transom fish box, and we also do a huge underfloor fish box for the people that are going tuna fishing or bottom fishing.
All right. Folks, you're listening to America Outdoors Radio. We're talking to Bruce Wassum. He's the CEO of Rogue Jet Boat Works, and we're going to turn our attention to another subject. And this is completely different from boats. Well, I shouldn't say that. It does affect jet boats because Rogue River Fly Fishers, it's a group that has petitioned the Oregon Marine Board to stop jet boat operations in a large section of the Upper Rogue River in Jackson County that you call home. What are your thoughts about this petition and its merits?
Well, the Rogue River, like all rivers, are meant for all user groups, whether they're kayakers, tubers, drift boaters, guides using power boats or drift boats, people like myself that use it with our customers. I do a lot of law enforcement training and general public training. We do all of our jet boat testing on the Rogue River, 5 minutes from our store here on the Tuvel to Rattlesnake section, which is in the contention as far as the fly fishermen. And the fly fishermen are just one small group that is using this section of the river, and I think it's a small faction of the fly fishermen that want it to themselves, and anybody else that's on it is disturbing their fishing. But the Rogue River is a great recreational thing in southern Oregon, and same with your rivers over in Idaho and Washington, and it's meant for everyone.
Well, I know that the Jackson County Commission has come out against this petition by the Rogue River fly fishers, and I understand that you've written a letter to the Oregon Marine Board as well. What does your letter say?
It's basically what I just said, is made for all user groups. I think safety is always a factor, and so I think the different user groups, as there are getting to be more people, there are more people on the river, that we need more education for the rafters, for the fly fishing, for the jet boaters to be as courteous as possible, as safe as possible, that we can have the river as a wonderful place for all of us, and it's not just for one user group. The complete Rogue River has had issues like this, and same as the Snake River, is a certain amount of river users think they have a better right to it, but that is not correct, and I don't think there's going to be an issue on getting this repealed or not even to first base, because it's made for everyone.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Let's turn our attention back to your boats. If people want to find out about them, I understand you're going to be at a number of sportsman shows and boat shows, including one in Anderson, California this weekend.
Yes, we are taking 6 boats down to Anderson, California, which is March 2nd through the 5th. Then we go transport, we'll have 10 boats in the Sacramento Marine Trade Association show at the Cal Expo State Fairgrounds in Sacramento, and then the following weekend over to Reno at their big convention center for a show the 17th through the 19th.
All right, so if you want to check out Rogue Jet Boats, you can do it in Anderson, California at the NorCal Sportsman Show, or head down to Sacramento the week after that, or the 17th through the 19th down in Reno, Nevada. And if you can't make it there, just go to their website. It's roguejetboats.com. That's roguejetboats.com for a wide line of fishing boats. It's going to fit your every need. Bruce, thanks for telling us all about this on America Outdoors Radio.
You're welcome, John. Have a great day.
Did you check out this month's edition of Northwest Sportsman Magazine? If you didn't, you're missing out, because it's the best publication out there that covers the fishing and hunting scene, not only in Washington State, but in the entire Northwest. Northwest Sportsman Magazine has got great writers and great content you need to have to be successful. Northwest Sportsman Magazine is the publication for you. Find out more at nwsportsmanmag.com or pick up a copy at a newsstand near you.
Looking for the safest, most stable riding boat on the market? Welcome to Stabicraft. Born in New Zealand, Stabicraft has a built-in reputation for making the most seaworthy boats on the market. Heavy gauge aluminum chambered boats with models ranging from 14 to 29 feet in a variety of configurations to suit all your needs. Check out the all-new 2750 center cab, a walk-around design for the Northwest market and packed with industry-leading features to suit all types of fishing, allowing you to adventure with confidence. Book a test ride today at stabicraft.com.
It's time for another local shot of the outdoors. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, and you'll only hear it here on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
All right, we're back with Tom Burlingame again with XL Fishing Charters. So, Tom, folks are going to come fishing with you, and they'll probably stay at the inn at Nia Bay, but they're going to probably want to go eat somewhere. Let's talk about dining options and things to do in CQ. It's a small little fishing town. Is there anywhere to eat?
Yeah, there sure is.
is. Even though we're remote, we do have a few places to eat. In CQ or Clallam Bay, I would suggest the Breakwater Inn. It overlooks the strait. It has a very full menu.
All right. And I guess I've never asked this before. When folks come fishing with you, is breakfast or lunch included, or do people need to bring their own food?
No. If they're staying at the inn, we have a continental breakfast for them in the morning, but they'll want to bring their lunch on the boat.
Okay. And water provided, or do they need to bring water and beverages as well?
They need to bring any beverages other than the hot coffee we serve on board.
Oh, you got to have hot coffee in the morning, especially as you're heading out to the fishing grounds.
You bet.
All right, folks, if you want to find out more about fishing with Tom Burlingame for this great winter-spring blackmouth salmon fishery where you get to keep 2 salmon off of CQ, go to his website. It's xcelfishingcharters.com. That's EXCEL fishingcharters.com. We'll talk to you again next week, Tom.
Thank you, John.
There's a whole bunch more of the great outdoors coming your way on Fox Sports 1380.
Marine Area 5 near CQ is open for a special Chinook salmon fishery from February 16th to April 30th, and Excel Fishing Charters is ready to take you out for a great day on the water. One of the great things about this fishery is the fact that you get to take home not 1, but 2 blackmouth a day, and Captain Tom Burlingame has the knowledge and experience to help you get that done.
Fish on!
Need a place to stay? Excel Fishing Charters can help you with that too, because they also operate the inn at Nia Bay. Find out more about fishing with Excel Fishing Charters at excelfishingcharters.com. That's EXCEL fishingcharters.com. Book your trip now.
Be sure to attend the Monroe Sportsman Show April 7th through the 9th at the Evergreen State Fairgrounds, with tons of vendors offering big discounts, a lineup of expert speakers, and a stock trout pond for the kids. This show will be fun for the whole family. Admission is only $6 and kids under 12 are free. So be sure to attend the Monroe Sportsman Show, presented by Puget Sound Anglers Snow King Chapter and sponsored by Three Rivers Marine with support from the TPA Fund of Snohomish County. Find out more at monroesportsmanshow.com.
Backcountry hunters and anglers, the men and women working hard to keep public lands in public hands. Check us out at backcountryhunters.org.
You're back with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz, and this portion of the show is brought to you by the Alaska Sporting Journal. It is the monthly magazine that covers all things outdoors, fishing, hunting, and adventures throughout the great state of Alaska. Look for it at a newsstand near you. Speaking of Alaska, I know a lot of you have thought about heading up there for a bucket list trip to go fishing, whether it be saltwater fishing, freshwater fishing, or maybe both. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're going to do it big or go home. And one place you can do exactly that is at Alaska's Boardwalk Lodge on Prince of Wales Island near Craig, Alaska. With us here to tell you more about it is the owner of the lodge, Brad Stewart. Brad, welcome to the show.
John, it's good to be with you. It's been exciting.
It is. It's really exciting for me, too. And I'll tell you why. I was looking at your website and started digging in there and got to realize how big of a deal it is what you're offering Alaska's Boardwalk Lodge. And folks, I'm going to set the plate here. This is a lodge that's won an Orvis endorsement. Those do not come easy. When it comes to Orvis, they don't give those things away lightly. You've got to be the best of the best. On top of that, Alaska's Boardwalk Lodge has got a 3-time Award of Excellence from Sporting Classics. So you're doing a lot of things right. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the lodge, Brad?
John, I'd be delighted to. Alaska's Boardwalk Lodge, we just call it Boardwalk for short. It truly is a 5-star environment. The lodge itself is beautiful, very upscale, rooms, etc. Very, very nice. And we have 3 culinary trained chefs who know the art of gourmet cooking to take care of our wonderful guests. The lodge has been in existence for about 40 years. We're the 3rd owners. Bought it about 15 years ago and have just been totally enjoying it ever since.
Well, Brad, I want to talk a little bit about the food. And I'll tell you what, folks, if you're like me, you've probably been to a few lodges maybe in your time. I know the last lodge I went to that was anywhere near where you were at there, Brad, was up in British Columbia. And I still remember our last meal. It was moose burritos with sour cream. Looking at your menu, your food's a little classier than that, isn't it?
Well, it just depends on how you look at things. If you like wild meat, that other is probably good. But we'll be serving prime rib, filet mignon, halibut Alaska, salmon dishes, and so forth. It's always a 4 or 5 course meal in the evenings. You enjoy the dining in the comfort of your jeans. It's that kind of a thing. Just the best of the foods that Alaska can provide. There's always fish of some sort, or crab, or oysters, well, just name it, we have it.
And if you don't believe me, folks, go to their website. They've got some sample menus there. The food looks to be out of this world. But as beautiful as the lodge is, and as great as the food is, that's not why people are coming. People are coming there for the fishing. I love the fact that you offer both saltwater fishing and freshwater fishing. And we'll start off with the saltwater stuff, taking place June through mid-September. Tell our listeners what you offer in that regard.
Sure. We run 28-foot heated cabin cruisers, first of all. They're state-of-the-art motor with twin 150 Mercs and lots of deck space. We like to have 4 people on each boat. What people will be fishing for during that time are kings and kings and kings. And with that coho or silvers, eventually pinks and chums as well, plus lots of halibut. We expect our guests to reach their limit on halibuts every day. And so we'll trade off. We'll part of the day we will do halibut fishing, and then we'll trade off and do salmon fishing the rest of the day. But the catch is just phenomenal. Sometimes I get spoiled and think that if I haven't caught something in 10 minutes, there's something wrong.
Wow. All right, that is spoiled. That is very spoiled indeed, Brad. So let's change to the freshwater fishing. That is very intriguing to me because you've got shots at steelhead, salmon, and trout. Where are your clients fishing?
Well, they're fishing on numerous lakes, rivers, and streams on Prince of Wales Island. The island is unique in that there is over 1,000 miles of road structure on it due to heavy logging early. So we simply use Suburbans to get our folks out to any of the spots that we feel are the best for that particular day. You will be hooking up early season with sockeye and with Dolly Varden and cutthroat. A little bit later in the season, mid-July on, the various other forms of species of salmon are running. And towards the end of the season, we have the largest of the silvers running. They will top 18 to 20 pounds. In fact, we're doing a cast and blast during that time for waterfowling and the silver fishing. Very early, we have steelhead. The steelhead are monsters. They will get up to 40 inches.
You know, you've got me salivating, and I'm not talking about the food either. I'm talking about these fishing opportunities. Sounds fantastic. And something else, Brad, that really piqued my interest is that we're not just talking about gear fishing here. You really cater to fly anglers too, don't you?
Oh, we do. And by the way, we have all of the equipment. The folks coming to the lodge, just bring the clothes you want to wear around. We literally have and do everything else for you. We have the boots and the waders. They're the latest and the best of the Orbis gear, fly rods and reels. We even have spey rods, so that our inventory is constantly updated.
Well, this sounds fantastic. And in addition to all this, the saltwater fishing, the freshwater fishing, the lodge experience, the great food, you offer other adventures too. And I see you've got fly-out trips, you've got glacier tours, you can go out in a canoe or a kayak. There's wildlife watching for either bears or whales. And something else, again, that piqued my interest, there's cave exploration. I'd never heard of such a thing on Prince of Wales Island.
They're the deepest caves in the United States right there.
And tell me about this. These are guided tours?
Yes, they are. The Forestry Service guides the caves, and there's 15 forestry trail hikes that you can go on. There's a bear observatory. Some people just enjoy getting out on the beaches and just taking a look at low tide for starfish and urchin and sunfish and so forth. We have developed a very strong non-fishing partner program. We want wives and youth to be at the lodge as well as anglers. And so many of the wives do not fish, so we have created a wonderful program for those who are non-fishing folks so that they can be very, very comfortable at the lodge, enjoy it. The guys can get out fishing on their own and with their guides, of course, separate from the wives and the youth. If they don't want to go out, that's perfect for us. But we also have whale watching. There's a colony of about 400 sea lion. There's porpoise. There's seals, and so many other aquatic life as well that it makes it an enjoyable all-around experience for all.
Well, Brad, like I said at the beginning, if you're going to do Alaska and do it right, it sounds like Alaska's Boardwalk Lodge is the place to do it. Again, you've got an excellent lodge, wonderful food, freshwater fishing, saltwater fishing, and plenty of other adventures for people who maybe want to take a day off of angling or who don't want to go angling at all. Let's give folks a website where they can find out more and book a trip with you.
Super. www.boardwalklodge.com.
That's boardwalklodge.com. Again, boardwalklodge.com for an incredible Alaska experience. That's Alaska's Boardwalk Lodge. Brad, thanks for telling us all about this on America Outdoors Radio.
John, it's a pleasure to be with you.
By the way, you can catch up with the folks from Alaska's Boardwalk Lodge and ask lots more questions at some sportsman shows. One of them is happening this weekend in Redmond, Oregon. It's the Central Oregon Sportsman Show at the Deschutes County Fairgrounds. Be sure to stop by our booth there as well. Another show that Alaska's Boardwalk Lodge is going to be at is in Wisconsin at the Milwaukee Sports Show, March 8th through the 12th. They'll be in Salt Lake City at the International Sportsman's Expo, March 16th through the 19th, and at the ISE Show in Scottsdale, Arizona, March 23rd through the 26th. Drop on by, ask them questions, and book a stay at a fabulous Alaska fishing and adventure destination.
RCI X-Rail has the high-capacity magazine or accessory you need for your shotgun. Whether you're using it for tactical purposes, competitive shooting, or special hunts, where maximum round counts don't apply. RCI's X-Rail lets you get more rounds downrange faster because you don't have to reload as often. And their performance shop will race up your shotgun by opening the port for fast loading, lightening the trigger, or adding sights and accessories. RCI X-Rail is your shotgun solution because they are the shotgun people. Find out more at xrailbyrci.com.
Low-limit saltwater salmon fishing got you down? Don't be sad. Head to the mighty Columbia River and get into the great steelhead and salmon fishing going on this year. Mike Salazar with Salt to Summit Guide Service is the man to go fish with. He's got over 25 years experience and knows how to catch a limit of fish. In fact, he's so confident in your success, he'll guarantee a fish. Book your Columbia River trip now at salttosummit.com. That's salt, then the number 2, then summit.com.
Looking for the safest, most stable riding boat on the market? Welcome to Stabicraft. Born in New Zealand, Stabicraft has a built-in reputation for making the most seaworthy boats on the market. Heavy-gauge aluminum chambered boats with models ranging from 14 to 29 feet in a variety of configurations to suit all your needs. Check out the all-new 2750 center cab, a walk-around design for the Northwest market and packed with industry-leading features to suit all types of fishing, allowing you to adventure with confidence. Book a test ride today at stabicraft.com.
Tillamook Bay is considered the greatest fishing experience on the west coast for fall Chinook salmon and winter steelhead, and Dungeness crab is plentiful. 5 major rivers connect with the ocean on the Tillamook coast. It's not unusual to snag a 40 to 50 pounder. Go out in a boat or stand on a riverbank or dock. Try fishing from a dory boat and experience the thrill of a beach launch and landing. Use spinners, sand shrimp, or salmon eggs to lure them. The fish will line up to grab your bait. Go to tillamookcoast.com/fishing to find guides and places to stay.
Planning your next hunting trip in Oregon or Washington? Our Rams Game Management Unit maps show you the big picture on where you're going, as well as the topography and road trail information to help you get there. And they've got public land information, Game Management Unit boundaries, and UTM information for GPS users to keep you out of trouble. Rams Game Management Unit maps are a great planning tool for safe and successful hunts. Look for Rams maps at your local sporting goods store or see our entire line of maps on the web at bigskymaps.com.
Remember those fantastic Penn manual downriggers? Do you wish you still had one? Guess what? You can. Chris Costantino from Trollmaster explains.
It's a reincarnation of the iconic Fathom Master line. We reinvented the downrigger, and it's exactly the same as it was. All the parts are interchangeable, so if you have an older Penn Fathom Master downrigger and you need parts, we actually have the parts for it because they're exactly the same.
Order your downrigger at troll-master.com. That's troll-master.com. You're back with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. We got some outdoors news to share from you, and this portion of the show is brought to you by the American Shooting Journal. It is the monthly magazine that covers the shooting sports throughout North America. Look for it at a newsstand near you. From Bassmaster Media, we share Tim Horton tops the best of the best at the Bassmaster Elite on Florida's Lake Okeechobee. It was a close call, though, and Horton, who was long overdue for a Bassmaster Classic win, was thankful for the first 2 days of the tournament, where he jumped out to a commanding lead that dwindled as the weekend progressed. After starting Championship Sunday more than 8 pounds ahead of his nearest competitor, Horton of Muscle Shoals, Alabama, struggled throughout the day but held on tight to win his first championship in a decade. Horton was only able to bring 11 pounds, 7 ounces of Okeechobee largemouth to the scales on Sunday, which pushed his total 4-day weight to 83 pounds, 5 ounces. His success topped the second place finisher by just 1 pound, 4 ounces. In Horton's words, today was a very difficult day, no question about it. I'm so thankful and so very blessed that Thursday and Friday went as well as they did. If it weren't for those 2 heavy limits, I wouldn't have won. Well, congratulations, Tim, and I'm glad your family got to be there with you when you took home that first place finish and that $100,000 first place prize. In other news, there has been an effort as of late to get more women into the outdoors, and several states have launched programs and camps just for women to help them learn skills they will need to be successful in the field. One such state is Wyoming, where the Game and Fish Department is bringing back their popular Becoming Outdoors Woman Camp. Wyoming's Bow Camp will be held June 23rd through the 25th at the YMCA of the Bighorns Camp Roberts outside of Buffalo. Activities at the camp are designed to introduce women to a variety of outdoor pursuits they can enjoy in Wyoming's great outdoors, from hunting and shooting to fly fishing, canoeing, and even wildlife photography. Janet Malek, who is leading the effort, states in a Wyoming Game and Fish press release that Bow Camp is designed for women who are interested in outdoor activities, who may not know how to get started, or who want to hone their skills. We supply the equipment and teach activities to empower women to get outside, try something new, and meet others with similar interests. Applications must be received by the Casper Regional Office of Game and Fish by 5 p.m. on April 15th and only by postal mail. The 3-day event only costs $150, which includes all meals, lodging, and equipment. Space is limited to just 35 women, and participants will be selected through a random draw. Applications and additional camp info are available at the Wyoming Game and Fish website. On the conservation front, there's a lot going on in the state of Utah that is spilling over to other parts of the country. First off, it appears Utah is backpedaling on a proposed bill to take public lands out of public hands. That's the word from Kate McCaleb at Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, who says in a press release that following increasing pressure by sportsmen and others to keep public lands under public ownership, state legislators announced a decision to amend a lawsuit which would have cost Utah taxpayers $14 million. It all started in December when the Utah legislature's Commission for the Stewardship of Public Lands voted to draft a complaint that would contest continued public ownership of public lands and waters, which constitute about 2/3 of the state. The nature of the suit and its cost, estimated at $14 million, was roundly criticized by sportsmen's groups, including Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. House Concurrent Resolution Number 1, which initially authorized legal action, was one of several measures being considered by the Utah state legislature that focuses on seizing control or ownership of American public lands. Now, the legislature has amended the resolution to read that they will attempt to work with the new Republican administration and only file the $14 million state taxpayer-funded lawsuit as a last resort. There's been more fallout, too, for the state of Utah following President Obama's designation of a large swath of land now called the Bears Ears National Monument, an act opposed by a large number of Utah politicians. In fact, Utah's stance on these subjects has become so severe that it's affecting their economy. According to the Salt Lake City Tribune, the Outdoor Retailer Show, huge trade shows that come to Salt Lake City twice a year, are no longer going to take place there. The Tribune reports that on February 16th, Utah Governor Gary Herbert, in a conference call with executives from top outdoors retail companies, rattled off reasons he believed they could keep their lucrative trade show in Salt Lake City. However, the executives from the Outdoor Retailer Shows and its vendors told Herbert he had only 1 or 2 weeks to show stronger support for public lands. Failure to do so would cost the state the outdoor retailer events and the chance to land another trade show for the cycling industry. Herbert's resigned reply, according to the Tribune, was to say, if you're going to give me an ultimatum here on the phone, then the answer is, I guess we're going to have to part ways. And with that, the call quickly ended, and Utah lost all 3 shows. Okay, enough news. Let's head to the floor of the Central Washington Sportsman Show in Yakima and tell you about another great fishing destination to visit this summer. Next up on America Outdoors Radio, we're taking you up to Vancouver Island in British Columbia. That's where Rugged Point Lodge is located. With us here to tell you more about this wonderful place and the great fishing you're going to find there is lodge owner Matt Gaget. Matt, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks, John.
So, Matt, let's start off with where you're located and how do folks get there?
Okay, we're on the northwestern part of Vancouver Island, and most people drive in, and then we go by boat out to our lodge, which is on an island.
And that's really unique. I mean, again, you're on this small little island. You got the lodge there. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about the accommodations and the food they're going to enjoy, too?
Okay, well, we're a small lodge. We have 6 rooms and four boats, and our trips they're all inclusive, and that includes your food, fishing, and accommodation, and we have a great chef.
I'm guessing seafood is on the menu from time to time.
It is, but it's not something that we focus on, but definitely.
So let's talk about the real reason folks are coming there, and that is for the fishing. You're in a sound, but I'm guessing you're not fishing in the sound. You're heading out into the open ocean on the Pacific, aren't you?
Yeah, we're on the open ocean side. We do have some semi-protected areas to fish around the islands, but most of our fishing is out towards the Salmon Highway, and we do salmon, halibut, and lingcod out there. And it's very productive, and our lodge is within 10 miles of the continental shelf.
And one of the things I understand about fishing with you is that you're not just going out there and fishing for salmon for the day. You're fishing for multiple species every day.
Oh, yeah. Our full-day trips are salmon, halibut, lingcod trips. Once you've limited out on one species, you move on to the next.
And I understand that on a daily basis, you can catch 2 king salmon, 2 silver salmon, 1 halibut, 2 in possession with some size restrictions, and quite a few rockfish and lingcod.
Yeah, that's right. And it's and you can expect to catch that where we are. It's very productive.
So one other thing I want to tease people with. I know it's not a sure thing, but quite often during the summer months, your visitors are going to get a shot at a very different species. It's all sorts of fun that you wouldn't expect to see off the coast of Vancouver Island.
Oh, yeah. Once in a while, the current will come in close enough, and we'll have some shots at albacore tuna.
And at the end of the season, you also have a unique fishing experience that's not out in the saltwater. It's in the freshwater.
Yes, that's in October. The rivers that are up behind the lodge, there's no roads into them. They're very remote. We do a short fly fishing season for coho salmon.
So let's talk about the packages you offer. Are they 5-night, 4-day packages, or exactly what do they look like?
We have some 5-day, 4-night packages, but most of our packages are 4 days, 3 nights for our salmon and halibut and lingcod fishing. And our fly fishing trips in October, because the days are a little bit shorter, we do 4 nights and 3 full days of fishing.
What separates your operation from all the other ones that you're going to find on Vancouver Island?
Well, we're a small operation. We're family owned and operated. We're a kind of a small Gucci lodge. We have all Grady White boats, top-of-the-line equipment. My guides have been with me a long time. I'm on the water every day. And, when we're in a great spot called Cayucit.
So there you go, folks. If you're looking for a remote place to go and have a family-like setting in terms of a lodge experience, you're not going to be overwhelmed with hundreds of other visitors that are going to be there. Consider going to Rugged Point Lodge. You're going to get into some great fishing. There's going to be some sightseeing of wildlife along the way, and you're going to be fishing with some really good people. Let's give folks a website to find out more.
Yeah, ruggedpointlodge.com.
That's ruggedpointlodge.com. You can also shoot them an email at info@ruggedpointlodge.com if you want to get more information. But the website's a great first stop. Trust me, if you go with Matt and his wife, Christy, you're going to have a wonderful time here and probably going to bring home all sorts of fish back to the States. Matt, thanks for telling us all about this on America Outdoors Radio.
Okay, thanks, John, and you will come back with all sorts of fish.
We hope you enjoyed this week's broadcast. We certainly covered a lot of ground. If you didn't get to hear all of it, go to our website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com later this week. You'll be able to catch a podcast of it there. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, too, at America Outdoors Radio. Another place to hear us is on WRVO Radio. It's an internet station dedicated to outdoors programming. The website is RenoViolaOutdoors.com. We've got to go, but on the bright side, winter is loosening its grip, spring is on the way, and lots of fishing and outdoors opportunities are coming with it. I hope the good Lord blesses you in the week ahead and let some sunshine shine on your face as well. It might just be the motivation you need to get outside. Remember, it's your country and your outdoors.
It's time for another local shot of the outdoors. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, and you'll only hear it here on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
Before we go on this show, we want to check back in with Chad Calder. He's the owner of Chad's Coastwide Sports Fishing out of Port Hardy, BC. We told you about all the great fishing that he offers, different species every day. Now we're going to tell you about the all-inclusive vacation packages he offers for a very affordable price. Why don't you tell our listeners how it works?
Okay, John, so we are fully all-inclusive once you arrive in Port Hardy. That means we include your oceanfront accommodations, we include your meals, and we also include all the fully guided boats and the custom processing and packaging of all your fish. So the oceanfront accommodations, as you drive into Port Hardy, there's only one marina in town, and there's two hotels adjacent to that marina, the Glen Lion and the Quarter Deck Inn. Majority of our clients we put at the Glen Lion. They have beautiful decks right on the water, and our boats are a 2-minute walk to the right. We do something completely unique with our meal situation. We give your group diners cards. With the diners cards, you're welcome to go to one of 5 different restaurants at any given time and simply order anything you want off of any of the menus, and it gets billed to us. So it's not like a dinner bell situation. Like a lodge, you can eat whenever you want and you can go back twice, and there's lots of different great meal options. And we include all the custom processing and packaging of all your fish. So at the end of the day, we don't clean any fish at our dock. We have a Canadian certified processor that takes your fish and processes your fish down to 1.5 pound, meal-size fillets. It's all vacuum packed, then flash frozen, and then at the end of your trip, it's all divided equally amongst your group, and it's boxed, ready for you to travel home with the proper documentation and paperwork for you to travel with that fish.
Folks, it's the most stress-free fishing vacation you'll ever have, and you are going to love it. You can find out more at coastwidesportsfishing.com. That's coastwidesportsfishing.com, and you better book now because he's going to be selling out soon. Thanks as always, Chad.
Thank you very much, John.
Be sure to attend the Monroe Sportsman Show April 7th through the 9th at the Evergreen State Fairgrounds, with tons of vendors offering big discounts, a lineup of expert speakers, and a stock trout pond for the kids. This show will be fun for the whole family. Admission is only $6 and kids under 12 are free. So be sure to attend the Monroe Sportsman Show, presented by Puget Sound Anglers Snow King Chapter and sponsored by Three Rivers Marine with support from the TPA Fund of Snohomish County. Find out more at monroesportsmanshow.com.
From the Columbia River to Puget Sound, the Coastal Conservation Association in the Pacific Northwest works to conserve the fish we love. To find out more, go to ccapnw.org.